Finally.
Yeah. What's happening?
I do. What's popping now?
So what are we doing here? What's happening on this?
So
this
we
podcast?
finally decided to do it. We finally decided to put together a podcast.
Okay.
Right. And I feel like we've had these conversations for like a couple years.
Yeah.
And I think it will be fun if we share the conversations because content, right? So
Okay.
at the end of the day, it's I think there's a lot of gap and there's a lot of room in the creator space.
True. I agree.
And that's kind of what we're trying to
Bridge.
help, bridge and understand as well.
Sure.
Disclaimer: this is not a masterclass. This is not a 5 steps to succeed.
Sign up and get 50%
Right,
off.
exactly. This is not that. This is two creators from two different spectrums sharing their experiences and trying to make sense of how we can bridge the gap between creators, between brands, between why we create, motivations behind some of our creator friends, why they do what they do, motivation between some of our brand manager friends and why they do what they do. Just trying to make sense of this continuously evolving space that is creation. So, Why do you create? Let me ask you that first.
Why do I create? I think it's.
Hold up.
Okay. Oh.
Before we do that,
I'm meant to
people need
introduce
to know
myself.
who you are. Yeah, because I think they know who you are.
They don't know who I am.
Who is I'm the one that is not know. But start first, please.
So wait, this is just. So are we meant to be? You know, when you're doing all this podcast, are you meant to be also looking at the camera too? Because like sometimes I think when you're addressing people, maybe we're meant to also look at the camera.
I think when we're addressing people, look at the camera.
Then when we're talking, then we can look.
I think we're going to keep this in as well, just to show people that we're figuring it out at the same time.
So, my name is Tayo Aina, as like you know, but maybe they don't know. I'm a YouTuber. I've been making content. I'm a YouTuber and a filmmaker. I've been making content for over 4 years now, but I started my YouTube channel like over 3 years ago, and I've been consistently making content for 3 years. That's just it. I've been to 12 countries currently. Generally, my goal with my content, and one of the major reasons why I create, is to tell stories and to also showcase Africa, which is the continent I'm from, in a very positive light. Yeah. So those are some of the driving goals behind why I create and the reason why I create content. I
think that's another thing that that we share in common. I'm one for African solutions and Africa being painted in a better light. I mean, we're over 1 billion people, right? So that number alone is enough to make us pretty dominant. But not to get too deep, my name is Wande Thomas. I am a creator, right? I have been in the creative space for 6 years, 5-6 years, depends on when. So are we counting when I started getting paid, or when I was doing it for vibes? But I'll say 5 years, right? And basically I've worked in the podcast space. I've worked in as a freelance producer for a very long time. I produced quite a number of music videos, commercials, behind the scenes. Content. Yeah, I'm majorly behind the scenes. This is very awkward. For me, we knew. But My motivation for creation is, I think, basically I'm a TV junkie, if that makes any sense. But TV in 2021 is not the same, right?
Yeah, it's changed.
I don't think I own like a TV subscription right now.
Yeah,
I
same
YouTube,
here.
I Netflix, I'm always online, right? And I've curated this perfect. That's why if you come to my house, please don't use my YouTube anyhow.
So
Don't
that
mess
you
with
don't
my algorithm,
so you don't scatter.
because I have
Your
videos
recommendations,
structured.
yeah,
I
that
have a
happens.
routine. I
That
have
happens with
channels.
YouTube.
I have people that have subscribed to both Nigerian, internationally, and all. And I just watch a lot of YouTube, and so I'm kind of inspired to do more of that. Create content that's entertaining, that speaks to a different demographic. Because a lot of the creations, a lot of the things we watch online are still created by people who don't understand the voice of
Exactly,
of
yeah.
a younger demo. And so that inspires me to kind of create and also elevate. I think it's a big one. Elevate like the taste palette of what is entertaining African content. I think everybody has like it must be slapstick or it must be low hanging fruit, and I think we can do
better.
We can do a lot more.
You can do a lot more, yeah.
That's what drives me. That's what motivates me to create. What about you?
Yeah, so mine is also, so how mine started was more of me, like, when I started, because I used to be an Uber driver before.
Yeah.
So when I left Uber, when I was driving around Lagos, dropping people off, doing the whole Uber job, I noticed there were lots of places, like especially Lagos, because I live in Lagos. So I noticed there were lots of places that were not being showcased. And then whenever I'm online and I see many like YouTubers out there, I see how people in the US, UK, they travel to many places. They have a way of showcasing it, and then they showcase it in a way that it looks like, oh, this is one very amazing paradise that you're meant to go to. And I was like, okay, but as much as we stay in Lagos, and maybe a lot of people don't really look at Lagos as a place where you can maybe like travel to explore, stuff like that, there are still places here that are unexplored. So I started out with just trying to like showcase. I looked at the quality that they had out there, and I was like, it's possible for us to also make this level of quality in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And that's how I started to basically, first of all, showcase places, because I wanted to put, like, I feel we can be on the same level of standard than, like, as we see it out there, we can create that same kind of level of standard in regards to creating content online, to create, I'm losing my train of thought. We can be on the same level of standard to, like, as we see out there. So that's one of the reasons why I started to showcase many of all these places. And then it became a bigger picture of like, okay, as I was making it, I was realizing a lot of people, there's an underserved content on the internet in regards to places in Africa. Like, there's so many cultures. We have such a rich, diverse culture and like way of life in Africa, and it's not being, just like what you said, is not being showcased. Whenever it's even being showcased, it's being showcased by people who come from out there, like foreigners. They come showcase it for us. So I'm like, why do we have to let people tell our story for ourselves? So I decided we need to tell the stories ourselves, and I think that's also one of the main like ideas behind what I do.
Like what you said now, like is I watched the video literally last night, and it was Denzel was in an interview, and they were asking him. I think it was in a movie directed by a black director, right? And they were asking him that, why a black director? And he said something, and he said it's not race, it's culture, right? And this just is piggybacking off of what you just said. It's not race, it's culture. And he said, Scorsese did Goodfellas, and Tarantino did, let's say, Kill Bill, right? Or whatever, right? It's not like they can't do it, but Scorsese understands kind of that Italian culture.
True.
Right? So he's able to, talk about, it's not even the story, it's just the little nuances.
True.
So he talked about, like, the black director understanding that, okay, when you're a black person and you use, like, a hot comb on, like, tough hair, Like just how you're supposed to react. Does it burn? Does it like that's something like a white person would not understand. So it's not necessarily it's culture, right?
Yeah.
Where we're Africans.
Yeah.
We live in Africa.
Yeah.
So the nuances we understand
it better,
them better. And it's not about I think storytelling is universal, right?
Yeah, true.
There's a universal concept. That's why you can watch
True.
like an Italian film, or you can watch Narcos. I love
True.
Narcos.
Yeah,
and
too.
it's majorly in Spanish.
Yeah.
Or you could watch I'm thinking of the Spanish name now, like Casa de Papel.
Casa de
Money
Papel.
Heist.
Money Heist.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can watch it because
true.
they're universal like principles for storytelling. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't directed by a Spanish director, there are little nuances where he just understands that, okay,
true.
You're not, it's little, but then it's authentic. Like I said, we're 1 billion people, right? So if you tell a story as an African, from an African point of view, the outside audience might not see it. They will appreciate it because storytelling is storytelling.
Yeah.
But the Africans will feel it.
They'll feel it,
because they know that you're telling the story in a complete way. So I think that's kind of like a huge motivation for us to create African content.
I think it also, to add to what you said, I think it also it's also like a way of exporting the culture overseas. Like if we, like the way we watch Korean movies, like Korean movies are popular here, then BTS, like a lot of girls are going crazy about K-pop, BTS and all those people. And I'm like, okay, like why? How many people are going, like if we don't do what we have to do in regards to creating content, we need to also make people also go crazy over like our, I don't know, maybe our Bini culture or our weddings or the way we do our own stuff. Because it's a way of, the more we watch all those programs, we're generating revenue for those people.
Yeah.
So if we don't also take advantage and put value on our culture by trying to tell stories that we're meant to tell, we will not be able to cross that culture overseas and also spread the market, make the market bigger, like spread it out there. So I think it's a very important thing that we have to basically tell our stories. It's very important for us to do that.
I mean, thankfully, like movies, for example, like Wedding Party is like one of the biggest Nollywood exports in terms of movies, or Whiskey and Davido are like music exports. I think what we are trying to focus on is that although that is a goal for a lot of us, we also need to focus on the middle tier, right? Like the online content, the content that doesn't take an album, for example. Who knows? Whiskey might have been working on his album for a year, 2 years, or the movie might have been worked on for like 6 months, 8 months before it comes out. What of that content that is that daily YouTube content, right? Or those podcast content, those contents that are made in a short amount of time but still maintain quality. I think those are the things that we're also interested in. It's not just Nollywood and the big productions. What of the mid productions? What of the lower productions? I remember when you started vlogging, you used to use your phone, right? And it's kind of a situation of like start where you are.
Start where you are. Yeah, true.
So I think it's going to be an interesting journey. I'm looking forward to like a lot of conversations. I think over the period of the podcast, we're going to be having some of our friends come through.
That'll be cool.
Podcasters, vloggers, YouTubers,
different people from different industries,
people, Nollywood actors, whatever, and just try to kind of share experiences because I think that knowledge sharing is important as well.
It is.
The only way we can grow as a collective is if we grow collectively, right? Like we have to move as a unit. That way our impact is felt more.
True.
I'm pretty sure the K-pop renaissance is like because a couple of them are saying, yo, let's move as a unit, right?
True.
Or Nollywood, you can see a lot of people doing it, like the wedding party. Not to go back, but the wedding party we talked about just now was like 3, 4, 5 production companies coming together, right, to produce it.
So
why can't creators at our level, or higher or lower, come together to produce stuff?
Something,
come together to produce online only movies. Come together to produce like a TV show. Come together to produce something that can move the conversation. And that's kind of where we're trying to be, like a breeding ground.
I think that That totally makes sense. Because when you look at currently like the content space in Nigeria, there's a lot of fragmentation.
Yeah.
Like there's that community does not really exist, and there's so many conversations around like creating content, and especially now that content is like the next best thing, because all platforms is content is king. Content is king. The way everything's just happening with TikTok, YouTube, everything is just popping out. But there are so many conversations to be had around like different areas. There are so many areas like basically how much the industry is even worth. Things like mental health, things. There's so many things to talk about that are not being talked about. And I also, even like building a career as a content person, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but it's not being talked about. Like if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to start making skits, people who are making like music, people who are just starting out in different industries, in different careers, there are so many things people are going through. There are so many experiences that people have, but it's not being discussed. So I think the cool part about us having this podcast is to be able to start those conversations.
I mean, quick question now.
Okay.
Because I think about this. What? Okay. So I think about this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm curious. When was the time you realized? Because I mean, we're Africans, right? And it's not a stereotype, but I've realized. I was speaking with a friend one day, and it's like we almost have the same like shared experiences, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you grew up in a certain time. But we all know the expectations from like parents and society in terms of careers and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, with like I said, music, movies, everything doing pretty well, there's been a shift in narrative. But like, when did you like know, like in your soul, like I'm meant to be a creator, I'm meant to be in the creative industry? Like, is there that one moment that it just clicked for you?
I think mine built over time. So mine was, because I didn't, if somebody told me 4 years ago, like I'll be making videos, I would say it's a lie. Because I went to school, read estate management. My plan was to, let me just finish and just sell houses. But like after doing Uber and then trying my hands at making videos with my phone, and then I started making videos, and then gradually it just became an interest of just learning the art of making videos. Content wasn't really like in my head then, and then I think eventually I started making videos for other people as a filmmaker. Then it got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm tired of making stuff for other people. Let me make what I want to make. And then I started making my own content. So it really wasn't a specific point in time that it just clicked. But the thing is, the more I made content, the more I poured into like what I was doing. The more I was seeing like people's reaction to it, and I was realizing that there's really there's a need for this thing. Because when you make videos and then people are like, I never knew this existed. I never knew this place. Like you see their reaction, and it's like, and the cool thing about YouTube and content online these days is that the reaction you're getting, like you get instant feedback,
real time.
It's not maybe like movies. Movies, they take a long time to produce. But if we were to drop this podcast today, you will get feedback instantly.
They will let us know today. If
they will let you know whether you like it or not.
So
once there's a platform where you can easily get feedback, and it's not like you're specifically creating to maybe please a specific person. It's just general, just like art. You just create art, push it out there. If people like it, they will decide whether they like it or not, and then you can decide to make more art. So the more I did that, the more I realized that there's a lot to be told. There are many stories that are not being told. So I think that was the moment where I just realized that, okay, now that I have this skill and I was building this platform, it's more like a responsibility to basically push the narrative forward. So it became more of, from just wanting to make videos, it became more of like a responsibility to make impact. And like, I don't know if you watch Spider-Man, they said with great power, power comes great responsibility.
Bro. Okay, Peter.
That's just basically that's just it for me.
I think for me, and you were there. You were there on that day. It's actually Tayo actually documented this whole experience. I guess you know what I'm talking about. So, I'd been producing video. I moved back after my master's, and I was like, I'm going to do this content thing, right?
Yeah.
Media, bam, you know, shot a pilot, bond. It was like I took money, I wrote it, and I just smoked the money away because there were a lot of like mistakes. I don't regret it because
it was a learning process.
I called that my film school, right?
Yeah,
but
true.
Then time moves on. I'm like, this TV show is not going to fly like that, too. So let me get into the industry, and I started freelancing, and that's how I got into the music video space. Going along, producing music videos. I was like, hell yeah, sure, yeah, shoot it. But I was enjoying the experience.
When you were producing those music videos, what was it? Just did you have an interest in producing music videos, or you just wanted to just express yourself through that avenue, or you just wanted to make money?
I wanted to express myself. I needed to make money because I wasn't doing anything else. Like I had to make an income, right? But also, I knew that it was necessary for me to learn, to get. I've always been clear on where I wanted to go in terms of like the media space and creating TV and creating online digital videos and assets and shows and all of that. I knew that it was necessary for me to understand, and what better role than a producer, right? So it was necessary. So maybe I didn't love some of the songs, but I enjoyed the process of creating music videos. And I like to tell people that in production, I was lucky enough to partner with a friend of mine, Prodigy. You know him, right? And we had like a very collaborative process in the sense that I wasn't just a producer, I was a creative producer, and that's why I think in all the videos I produced, I probably maybe did 2 or 3. When I was a freelance, 2 or 3, like some other directors, because it wasn't the same in terms of I like to be a creative collaborator. I like to also have my ideas input in the whole process. So we did that, and then I remember we were doing that for a while. And then I remember, I almost checked out a lot of times, but I remember this particular day where Jeezy calls me and he's like, "Yo, Fowles just called me and he wants to do This Is Nigeria." Jeez. Right, and this is America had just come out.
The video that went viral.
Yeah, exactly. So This Is America had just come out, and funny enough, I was watching it a week before, and I was like, man, it would be cool for someone in Nigeria to do this. And I just had some things in my head, and I was like, I just put it on the shelf. So when he called me, I was like, I think
this is happening
book somewhere.
So
I started writing things. Obviously, he had come up with a whole lot of the ideas as well. Fowles still had some ideas, and we just put it together. And it was like a quick turnaround. Like the call came on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was there.
Released on Friday. So you were there.
I was there.
I kid you not. I was about to swear.
I'm allowed to say on this podcast.
We are,
okay.
I kid you not.
If it's going on YouTube, it's not going to be monetized.
I know.
You blip it out.
Tip number 1, don't swear if you want your video to be monetized. But I kid you not, right? Everything is good. We're running on vibes. You know when you're young and energetic? It's not like
ginger.
This was 2018.
Yeah.
So it's not that long ago, but like you're running on vibes and ginger, and like, oh God, we're about to change the world. Bruh, we put this thing together. Yeah. We got there, and I remember the gaffer back then. I was like, bro, we're good, right? And he's like, yeah, we're good. And
it's never good.
If you watch This in Nigeria, it's supposed to be this long one take.
Yeah.
Right? And we had a massive warehouse on the mainland, so we had to light the whole place. That's a lot of lights. Yeah. That means a big generator.
Lots of power.
The place we used 3 diesel generators back to back.
Yeah, that was
the first one, blue.
Blue, yeah.
The second one, blue. At the point we ran out of money. Yeah. And you can't meet the client and say, bro, we had to enter savings. Get a third generator. Beg, shout out to Clarence Peters, by the way. Beg Clarence Peters to send a gen.
Are you serious? I didn't know all of this, though.
Yeah, bro.
I knew the
at the
gen
end,
block.
the last gen we used was was on a truck.
Yeah,
Remember?
it was on a truck, yeah.
That was kind of Peter's gen. We had to put it on the tow truck. And bring it, and we had to plug it in. Hey, bruh, like everything that could go wrong went wrong
that day.
Security were with Fowles, who's a massive artist on the mainland. People had been hearing the music all day, so obviously Fowles is around. Then our police detail just left.
They were getting upset.
They left, literally. So we're like alone in Ojota at like 9 p.m. dark in the warehouse, bruh. So I was convinced that yes, this is the end of my career. I was supposed to go to Abuja the next day. So we wrapped up. Jeezy took the hard drive, went to the editor, and started chopping it up. I went home, got ready, got on a plane to Abuja in the afternoon, landed, went for my cousin's wedding. My phone had died. And so when I got from the plane, I went straight to the wedding. I hadn't charged my phone. After the wedding, got in the car at like 6, 7 p.m., plugged my phone, and I'm like, the video had been out by now. I didn't know. So, but when I plugged my phone, it was like, bloop, 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 bloop. I'm like, what's going on? Because in my mind, I was coming to Abuja, do the wedding, probably stay a couple more days because, bruh, my career is over. So take a couple more days rest, dust off my CV, come back to Lagos and apply for jobs. That was my plan.
Are you serious?
I was out, bro. Wow. I was done. I was guy. I had emotional trauma that day.
I think that's what Nigeria does to you a lot of times.
Plug my phone and I'm seeing bloop, bloop, bloop messages and I'm like, people are like, oh, this is mad, this is cool, this is, shouts to Files. He also tagged us on the video, very important because that was really helpful for our business. And then I'm like, oh, this is cool, man. And then I remember I went home to my family house and I was like, I just mentioned like, oh yeah, we put out a video and my parents at this time were like, yeah, sure. Cool, well done, sir. Proud of you. And then that was Friday. Saturday, traffic is increasing.
Yeah.
The video is doing numbers. And I'm like, bro, this is mad.
Yeah.
But it's not quite global yet, right? It's still Nigeria.
Nigeria,
like, video in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is mad. I'm looking, and then Sunday, Diddy posts it on his IG.
Yeah.
And then people start calling my parents from like the US. Like, oh, your son, what do you say he does again? And my mom is like, she comes to meet me and she's like, you said you did what again? I heard you on Friday, but I didn't, and it literally goes big, right? And how I know, like, so a litmus test, right, I use for Nigerian songs, right? Or for things in media. I called my parents and I asked them, do you know about this? If they know, get to them,
then it has gotten to
everybody. Because my dad doesn't even. They watch his tennis news. Or like, so if it gets to him,
then that means.
Right.
That's interesting.
So that was basically like reassurance to me, right? Now, it's an experience that was very like difficult, but at the end of the day, like I learned a lot from it that, you just have to persevere. Like tough times still came after that.
Yeah.
I still considered quitting a number of times after that.
I think Nigeria, living in Nigeria and just doing a business in Nigeria, like you probably go through that every day. Like I spoke to a friend of mine, I've been doing business for like probably over like 8 years or 9 years. And he was like, he said, this Nigeria that is just tired. That people just want to kill his dream. It's just like, at the end of the day, you are tired and everything. But I think as a Nigerian, we wake up the next morning and we are like, okay, let's go again.
We'll go again, yeah. So I think this podcast is going to be a lot of stories, experiences. You've traveled across the world. You've traveled across Africa. You have countless stories.
I have plenty.
Yeah. I've worked on a couple of productions, good, bad, big, small. I have a bunch of stories, just knowledge and share knowledge. Like I said, this is not a master class.
Yeah.
This is not a we're trying to teach you how to. This is just
it's
sharing
just-
experiences
yeah.
and hoping that we can share knowledge and build a community.
And very free and just free spirited, not too serious.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a serious person.
I'm not serious either. I know serious stuff, but I'm not serious.
So it's gonna be fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So
do we have a name for this podcast?
maybe we'll tell them to suggest a name for us. It's better when the viewers suggest a name.
I hope they suggest a good name.
A good name.
I really don't want to committed to a name.
Don't worry. Let's just put this one out, then we'll see how it goes.
All right, guys.
So thanks for watching, and as always, you need to tell them to subscribe because it's going on YouTube.
Sorry, I'm learning. Subscribe, comment, share.
So definitely.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button. Subscribe. Turn on post notifications because we're going to be dropping a lot more episodes in the future. As always, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.